For an entire year, I thought I was going insane in my relationship, crying, begging, doubting myself, questioning my worth, only for my ex to now admit he was being manipulative and hiding things on purpose to teach me a lesson. I, 34 female, went over to my ex-boyfriend's, 39 male, house tonight, and honestly, I don't even know what I was expecting. Maybe comfort. Maybe closure. Maybe just a familiar place where the silence between us isn't as loud as it is in my own head. The truth is, I miss him. I've missed him every day, even though this breakup, just like the others, was supposed to be final. We've only seen each other once since things fell apart this last time, but we still talk every day. There hasn't been a single day where we've fully let go of each other. We've been dating for a year now, but calling it a year feels misleading. It's been a year of breakups and reconciliations, of sharp words followed by apologies, of slammed doors and late-night phone calls where we say we can't live without each other. Every time he gets angry, he breaks up with me. That's his reflex, his weapon, his way of controlling the situation. So even though I can say we've known each other as partners for a year, if I were to count the actual time we were solidly together, it would add up to less than 6 months. The rest of the time has been fragments, pieces of a relationship stitched together with shaky promises. He's 39 and before me, he had been single for 8 years. His last relationship lasted 12 years, and he shares a child with his ex. That kind of history is heavy, and I knew from the start I was stepping into something complicated. I'm 34, and I've never had what I'd call a serious adult relationship. Maybe that's part of why I got so attached so quickly. I didn't have a long list of exes to compare him to, no strong examples of what healthy communication should look like. For me, this was uncharted territory. For him, maybe I was just another storm to weather. We do care about each other, that much I believe. There are moments where it's undeniable. He can make me laugh so hard my ribs ache, and he has this way of looking at me, just for a second, like I'm the only person who exists. Those moments are real. But in between them is this endless cycle of struggle, mostly around trust and communication. And those struggles have chipped away at me. When I try to express myself, when I try to explain why I feel hurt or confused, it almost always turns into him turning the spotlight on me. He tells me I don't know how to communicate, that I deflect, that I don't take accountability. He says I victimize myself, that I make everything about me, that I twist things. Sometimes I wonder if he really believes all of that, or if it's just easier for him to push the blame onto me than to take a hard look at himself. Trust has been a shadow hanging over us from almost the very beginning. It started with something so small, something that should have been nothing, but it became the spark that set off years of suspicion. One night, a friend of mine from high school texted me from a new number. When the notification popped up, I didn't recognize it right away. I even said out loud, "I don't know who that is." But then, as I actually opened and read the message, I realized it was him. I told my boyfriend immediately, thinking nothing of it, just a harmless text from someone I've known since I was a teenager. But to him, it wasn't harmless. To him, it was a lie. He said I was pretending not to know who it was, that I was hiding something, that I couldn't be trusted. That moment, something so trivial, became the crack in the foundation. From then on, he held it over me, using it as proof that I was dishonest. It didn't matter how much I explained, or how quickly I corrected myself, or how insignificant the interaction really was. In his mind, it meant I was guilty. To keep the peace, to show him I was loyal, I cut off my high school friend. I ended the friendship just to appease him, just to stop the accusations. And for a long time, I told myself that sacrifice was worth it, that if I gave up this one friendship, maybe he would finally feel secure with me. But in my heart, it never sat right. What made it worse, what still eats at me, is the hypocrisy. He has female friends. He has conversations with them, some late at night, and when I bring it up, he tells me it's nothing, that I'm overreacting. One woman in particular, someone from his high school, has texted him late at night, and when I question it, he brushes me off. He gets to keep his friends, his female connections, his late-night messages, but I was forced to sever mine just to prove myself. The double standard stings every single time. And now, the resentment has grown into something even deeper. My high school friend, the one I cut off, passed away last month. He'd been in poor health, struggling with alcoholism, and I always knew his time was fragile. When he reached out to me late at night, it was because he didn't sleep much, because his demons kept him awake. I tried to explain this to my boyfriend back then, to help him understand why my friend would reach out at 11 p.m., but he didn't care. All he saw was another man texting me, and that was enough to condemn me. Now, my friend is gone forever, and I never got to say goodbye. I never got to tell him I cared, or that I forgave him for his flaws, or that I still thought of him as a friend. That chance was stolen from me, and deep down, I know I gave it up because I was trying so hard to keep my relationship together. The grief mixes with the resentment, and every time I see a late-night message pop up from one of his female friends, it feels like salt in the wound. He told me once that he stopped talking to her, but then I found out he started up again. That betrayal, no matter how small he tries to make it seem, burns me in a way I can't put into words. And as if that wasn't enough, things got worse when he found a message on my phone from another man. This was someone I'd added on social media while we were broken up, but of course, that didn't matter to him. The truth is, I wasn't looking for anything romantic. I just wanted a friend. I even told the guy I was in a relationship, even though technically at that time I wasn't because we were off again. That didn't matter to him, though. The second he saw that message, whatever shred of trust he had left in me evaporated completely. He acted as if I had betrayed him in the deepest way possible, even though I wasn't hiding anything, even though I had been upfront about my intentions. It doesn't seem to matter that he and I weren't together when I added that guy. It doesn't matter that I made it clear I wasn't available. What matters to him is the story he tells himself, that I can't be trusted, that I lie, that I betray him. Meanwhile, he keeps his female friendships. He bends the truth about his own boundaries, and somehow it never counts against him. He used to complain early on about how I was too secretive with my phone, and that alone made him suspicious of me. He'd say things like, "Why are you always turning your screen away? What are you hiding?" But what drove me crazy was the hypocrisy of it. Whenever he was on his own phone, he would deliberately position himself so that the screen was angled away from me. He would tilt his body, lean back, hold the phone at just the right angle, so I couldn't catch a glimpse. And when I called him out on it, he would deny it, saying I was imagining things, projecting my own guilt, or just being paranoid. That became the rhythm of our relationship. Accusation, denial, and me left crying and trying to explain myself. And after so many of those arguments that never truly got resolved, something inside me began to harden. Resentment built up in layers I couldn't peel away, no matter how much I tried. My jealousy became more intense, not because I wanted to feel that way, but because I constantly felt like I was being lied to, that he was deliberately keeping things from me. My mind would spiral into the darkest places, imagining what or who was on the other side of that phone screen. I cried so many nights over it, cried so hard I felt drained, but even then, I stayed. I stayed and tried to work things out, even when I knew deep down that each fight left me weaker. Then tonight, during what started as a calm discussion for once, he dropped a bombshell that made my stomach turn. He admitted that the secrecy, the hiding, the turning away of his phone, it wasn't because he had something to hide, but because he was trying to teach me a lesson. His words exactly. "I did it on purpose. You wouldn't listen to me or change the things I asked you to, so I started doing it back. I wanted you to know how it felt." I was stunned. My mouth went dry because in that moment everything clicked. All those sleepless nights I cried myself sick, all the panic attacks I had when he accused me of cheating, all the distrust and pain, it was because he was deliberately playing games with me. He called it teaching me a lesson, but what it really was manipulation. I asked him to give me examples, to actually tell me what behaviors of mine had supposedly triggered this lesson plan of his, but he wouldn't. He dodged the question, just said he had already told me enough in the past and that I should know. Then he apologized, and I'll admit, in the moment, I thought he sounded sincere. He looked at me with those eyes and said he was sorry, and for a second, I wanted to believe him. I wanted to believe that maybe he had just made a mistake, that maybe there was some good intention buried under all of this. But the more I thought about it, the more disgusted I became. What kind of partner purposefully plays games with the person they claim to love? What kind of man sits back and watches his girlfriend spiral, cry, and beg for reassurance, all while thinking, "Good. Now she knows how it feels." That's not love. That's cruelty dressed up as righteousness. That's not teaching, it's punishing. It's deceitful. It's manipulative. And the worst part is how much it broke me. I remember sobbing in front of him during so many arguments, tears streaming down my face while I begged him to just be honest with me. I wanted clarity, closure, some kind of peace. But every time, he'd stand his ground, defending his secrecy, insisting he had nothing to hide. He would gaslight me, tell me that I was just projecting my own guilty conscience. He'd accuse me of cheating, something I never did, not once. Do you know what it feels like to be accused of something over and over again? To have the person you love look you in the eye and tell you you're a liar, a cheater, untrustworthy, when in reality, you've been bending over backward to prove your loyalty? It's soul-crushing. It makes you question your own worth, your own sanity. And for me, it planted this ugly seed inside me that whispered, no matter what you do, you'll never be enough. You'll never be trusted. You'll never be believed. I can't stop replaying the conversation in my head. When he told me that he had been hiding things, keeping his phone turned away, and acting secretive just to teach me a lesson, it felt like the floor dropped out from under me. For so long, I thought I was losing my mind. I thought my insecurity, my spiraling, my crying, my begging for reassurance, it was all on me. And now to hear him admit that he did it on purpose, that it wasn't even about hiding something but about punishing me, about matching my energy, I honestly don't know which is worse. It feels cruel. It feels manipulative. It feels like emotional torture. And I can't shake the thought that maybe he wanted to drive me crazy. Because I did feel like I was going crazy. I was so sick with insecurity, anxiety, and constant worry that I barely recognized myself anymore. The arguments consumed us. My self-esteem was shredded. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't eat. I cried until I felt physically ill. And at my darkest, I even thought about ending it all, because I just couldn't handle the emotional whiplash anymore. That's how deep this cut me. That's how broken I felt. And yet, I still can't figure out if he was lying. Was he being honest when he said he only did it to show me how it felt? Or is that just another cover, another excuse layered on top of all the other excuses he's given me? Because if it's true, then he sat there, watching me unravel, watching me fall apart, and decided not to comfort me or reassure me, but to dig the knife in deeper. He let me believe I was the problem. He let me take all the blame. He argued me down every single time, insisting he was innocent, insisting I was projecting or deflecting or victimizing myself. He accused me of so many things, things I never did. And all along, he could have just been honest with me. But maybe he wasn't. Maybe this is just another lie. And honestly, I don't know which would hurt more. To think he deliberately tortured me emotionally for months just to make a point, or to realize he's still lying even now, stringing me along with a half-truth to keep me hooked. He says he tried to tell me that he tried so many times to explain how my actions hurt him, but that I never listened. And because I didn't listen, he decided to turn the tables and hide his phone to match my energy. But all I remember is him stonewalling me, telling me I was crazy, telling me I was guilty of things I never even did. I already suspected him of sneaky things because of his secrecy, and hearing him admit that some of it was intentional only twisted the knife. What really broke me, though, was something he said during one of our worst arguments, that his ex was the love of his life, that everything he ever did was for her. That sentence has haunted me ever since. How can I compete with that? How can I feel secure with a man who throws words like that at me in the middle of a fight, knowing how fragile I already felt? It was like he wanted me to shatter. So much has broken my heart in this relationship that I honestly don't even know what to believe anymore. My instincts tell me he's manipulative, that this was all a sick game of power and control. My heart wants to believe he was genuine when he apologized, that maybe he just didn't know how else to reach me. But my mind keeps coming back to the same place. This was not love. This was not care. This was something darker. And here's where I'm stuck. Was this a twisted form of communication, like he says? Or was it torture? Because to me, it felt like torture. It felt like psychological warfare. And I'm left wondering, has anyone else ever done this to a partner? Has anyone ever thought it was okay to break someone down just to prove a point? Because if so, I don't know how to process that. I don't know how to reconcile the man who told me he loved me with the man who could watch me cry, scream, and fall apart, and still decide that I needed to be taught a lesson.